Israel is demanding Hamas return the body of Shiri Bibas after the militant group handed over remains that do not match any known hostage. The exchange comes as Israeli officials reveal new details about the brutal killings of Bibas's two young children while in captivity. Israel says forensic tests confirmed 4-year-old Ariel and 10-month-old Kfir Bibas were not killed in an airstrike, as Hamas previously claimed, but were murdered by hand. A military spokesman says evidence shared with international partners supports that finding. The boys, along with their mother, were kidnapped from their home during Hamas's attack on Israel in 2023. Their father, Yarden Bibas, was also taken hostage, but he was released earlier this month as part of a ceasefire deal. Hamas claimed it was handing over the remains of the Bibas family along with those of 83-year-old journalist Oded Lifshitz. But after forensic testing, Israel determined the body said to be Shiri Bibas was an unidentified individual. In the wake of the scandal, the U.S. envoy for hostage affairs warned Hamas of total annihilation if they didn't release all remaining hostages.
If the Israeli assessment is accurate and Shiri Bibas' body was not handed over, would U.S. and Israeli officials view that as a violation of the ceasefire deal? Because, I mean, yeah, would that be a violation? Besides being
it's a
horrific, I mean, just a horrific act.
Like you said, Anderson, it's horrific. It's a clear violation. And if I have one piece of advice for Hamas now, it's not only do you need to release her body immediately, but we have the bodies of 4 Americans that are still there, and we have 1 American, Idan Alexander. I think you know his family well, and you've done a great job reporting on it. He needs to come home, and if I were them, I'd release everybody, or they're going to face total annihilation right now.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calls it a cruel and malicious violation and warns Hamas would face consequences.
And as the Prime Minister of Israel, I vow that I will not rest until the savages who executed our hostages are brought to justice. They do not deserve to walk this earth. Nothing will stop me. Nothing.
The handover in Gaza was highly staged. Hamas militants paraded the coffins before transferring them to the Red Cross. A banner at the event read, "The return of war equals the return of your prisoners in coffins." Militants carried the caskets through a crowd as gunmen patrolled the area. The United Nations is condemning the display, calling it abhorrent and cruel. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is taking it further, saying Hamas is evil, pure evil, and must be eradicated. All hostages must come home now. Hostage families are urging Israel to keep the ceasefire deal in place to bring home more captives. As part of the agreement, Hamas is set to release 6 more living hostages on Saturday, including 2 Israeli citizens who were held for nearly a decade. In return, Israel is expected to release dozens of Palestinian prisoners. Talks on the next phase of the ceasefire agreement, which could lead to the release of all remaining hostages and an end to the war, have yet to begin. Hostage families say time is running out, which is why mediators are pushing for negotiations to move forward before the current ceasefire expires. But Israel's government is demanding the return of Shiri Bibas, and there's no real way to say for certain what happens to the ceasefire if that demand is not met. For more of our unbiased, straight fact reporting, download the Straight Arrow News app today.